Thank you. Good morning, Council President Wesson. It is Eric Previn from CD2 in Studio City, and thank you for that very moving presentation this morning, sir. That was very well done, and I want to also say thank you to the Korean American community for all that they have contributed to the City of Los Angeles. So this one is Riverside and Carpenter, sir, which is out in my district. And we talked about it in September, I think. I brought it to your attention that there would be a December 16th hearing and then also a little public works meeting somewhere around there. And they were scanning to see if anybody cared, and regrettably, there were no ballots delivered by the final hearing date. So since no ballots were returned by the final hearing date, in that proceeding, the no vote did not receive a majority, and as Mr. O'Connell will confirm, we're moving forward. So this is a tag on the residents for some lighting money. There are two in particular who are being tagged. One is the guy who owns a bunch of units. He's going to pass it on to his folks. I can't quite read his name because my vision is going, but it's Amron Ambar. And then Richard Harris Trust is the one guy who's going to actually have to pay $138 out of his own pocket. So this is the par for the course. And, you know, hopefully this brings some nice lights to the area. It's a little awkward that there were not a single protest. Holly Wolcott on December 24th, you know, did some kind of swearing under seal that she didn't get anything, so Merry Christmas. And now the residents will get a little uptick. So with that, you know, hope turning on the lights 24/7. Thank you.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on that item. Thank you, Mr. Previn. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Mr. Murphy, Sean, we're going to do item 39.
Yes, item 39, I am supporting.
Thank you. Let's prepare to vote. Madam Clerk, open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
We'll move on to item 45. Is Mr. Walsh here? Mr. Walsh, we're on item 45.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. We're on item 45 already. This is an exemption of one assistant general manager position for personnel department. Okay, let me tell you what this means, because you have to find out what it means. It means that a friend of the mayor wants a job and there's not enough money for him in the budget. There's not enough. The charter doesn't say how much, doesn't say the amount of money they want to give him. So they create an exemption and then give, I understand here, an extra $35,000, if I'm wrong, $35,000 for this person. HollywoodHighlands.org.
Okay, let's prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Mr. Walsh, don't go far. We're going to item 2. We have a card from you, and we have a card from Mr. Previn on item 2.
John Walsh, tweeting at Hollywood Dems. This is an item that should be, these are not very important items unless you yourself are, have the lien. Actually, as I've said, you do a very good job compared to places, bandit places that are run by landlords like Glendale. You do a very good job. I haven't had any trouble with housing. They've done a very good job. Remember, When you do a good job, as you do on liens, I am the first to praise you. And when you're crooked, I'm the first to condemn you.
Mr. Previn.
Yes, it's Eric Previn from CD2, and this is item, obviously the Office of Finance reports about coming after the characters for unpaid taxes. Now, coming after characters for unpaid taxes is a city hallmark, as we've seen repeatedly. The problem is that there are certain characters who are not paying the transit occupancy taxes accordingly or the parking occupancy taxes, and what has happened is there's a little log jam in the way we settle up with some of these characters. So the Office of Finance needs to do a very diligent job of being clear. Now, one very specific request was to see, sometimes when we have somebody who's late on their payments, sir, we set up a payment plan for them, which is obviously appropriate. So, for example, a guy owes $1 million. He pays only $5,000 or $10,000 a month for the first period, and then it goes up to, say, $30,000 a month. In some cases, it gets up there, and then nobody's really paying attention by them because it's been a year or two later. So this is where we need the diligence of the Office of Finance to be very, very thorough. And that's where a man named Craig Sykes, who's done a great job up there, hopefully will be providing the records that I've asked for soon. And here comes Professor Krikorian to attack me, perhaps. But nonetheless, I'm looking forward to clarity and transparency on this process because I think that everybody expects it, and we don't want some folks getting special deals, sir, while other people are getting the shaft, which we have seen from time to time, not on a regular basis, but on a semi-regular to all-the-time basis. So, yes, thank you. That's
Thank
30
you.
seconds left.
Okay, let's prepare to vote. Madam Clerk, would you please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Okay, we're going to move. Mr. Previn, don't go too far. We're going to move to item 42, and I believe that was held special by you, Mr. Previn, and Mr. Walsh. Item 42. And I've been informed you have 1 minute, Mr. Previn.
Well, I left 30 seconds on the clock.
No, they just told me 1 minute.
Oh, they don't work with
Mr.
the public?
Previn,
Okay.
State, you got 1
Sir,
minute.
I am learning about this place a little bit more every day. Thank you. I'll do my best in this 42, item number 42. So this is, of course, can't see who made the motion because they're not advertising today, but it's to increase the reward from $1,000 to $2,000 for turning in a graffiti artist, I guess. So that's one way to curb graffiti, I guess, is to bring it up $1,000. Are we getting a lot of traffic on this program? I mean, I don't know. To me, this is really an odd thing to be focusing on today, given all the problems we have, but so be it. One thing that is a sort of burr in my side, is the group that is constantly papering our metro with plastic to prevent graffiti. And then even when it's not mired in trouble, they take it down and put up new stuff. So this contract should be looked at. I know that's not your purview, but the guys from Metro, Bonin, and Krikorian.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh, HollywoodHighlands.org. Increasing the reward? Well, these rewards are a joke. Every $2,000 for every instance of graffiti on Hollywood Boulevard, that'd be about $3 million. Now, none of the press is going to ask them how much they've given in rewards. David Zanheiser, all the mayor has to do is flirt with him. He's gay, and he doesn't ask any questions. Women reporters do not do that. But I'm telling you right now, how much graffiti have you awarded at 1,000, and do you expect 2,000? And I want the whole world to know, you can come to LA and you can cover it with graffiti, and you won't get arrested, and you won't get harassed. You will get nothing. You will because it is not a priority. Why should graffiti be a priority when a reporter at KTLA was attacked on Hollywood Boulevard live on camera? Live on camera. She could have been raped.
This is not regarding this item.
Okay, you're disrupting the meeting, Mr. Walsh. Please contain your emotions. Okay, let us prepare to vote on this item. Let's open the roll, Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Okay, we'll now move to item 44. Mr. Murphy, Sean Murphy, item 44.
Yes, item 44. It's another item I am supporting.
Thank you very much, Mr. Murphy. Okay, Madam Clerk, would you please open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 eyes.
Okay, I'm going to do a couple of public comment cards. I don't know if I'm going to get to them all, but I want to start off with Michael Carrion, followed by you, Mr. Murphy. So, Michael, come on.
Okay, once again, Mr. Weezar's tried to cover up his little thing on Soto by sending somebody out there to do a little cleanup and have his associate come and tell me that construction has started. Cleaning up a project is not construction. So Mr. Weezar's had 10 years to clean this up, and sits there and eats an apple. So I say this to Mr. Weezar. Either he leaves office or we'll start a campaign to get him out of office. I know there's an opening in Mexico because they caught Chapo Guzman. Maybe he can go apply for that job.
Okay, Mr. Murphy.
Yeah, good morning. Do not take Uber. It's not a good company. I heard on KTLA 5 another victim has been beaten. This time it was a lady over on Hollywood Boulevard on New Year's Eve. If they're going to beat people up, don't take them.
Okay, if I could have Mr. Hunt, followed by Mr. Walsh.
It's the Red Chief Hunt. Vote Hunt2016.com for U.S. Senate, folks. I got to say, I gave you guys a second settlement proposal. You guys are in trouble. I'm a 9th Circuit winner. You guys can't file for limited liability. So get it done. It'll be the third time in U.S. District Court. Unanimous victory. Read the proposal. Get it done. Let's do it. You can go to Fox News, and you can see me in LA Times November 10th. Arrested while being black in the police commission lobby. How about that one? Third time. I know how to do the paperwork. It will get done. You can't arrest somebody for being black. I've been arrested 72 times. Just think about it.
Mr. Walsh.
John Walsh at HollywoodHighlands.org. Congratulations! The Inglewood Rams are coming to town. Who left town? The Los Angeles Rams. You spent here millions of dollars on your Farmers Field fiasco, and it didn't happen. Now, Inglewood is getting 2 teams. Nobody will criticize the mayor because all the mayor has to do is cock tease the male reporters at the LA Times, and they fantasize having sex with him. I'm telling you right now, KTLA, Mary Beth McDade, be attacked live on KTLA the other night. Hollywood Boulevard, it's out of control. She could have been raped, Mary Beth McDade. She could have had her throat slit. You don't give a damn. I'm telling the whole world, stay away from LA, stay away from Hollywood Boulevard, or you'll get your throat slit on live television. Go check it out at HollywoodHighlands.org. All the information.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm gonna defer to Mr. Krikorian. We have a couple of items that we wanted. You need a moment?
No.
So, Mr. Krikorian, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Item 47 is a settlement of a case Budget and Finance is considered and recommends approval of the City Attorney's recommendations. That matter can be resolved in open session unless members have concerns or questions.
Thank you. Mr. Clerk, don't you have to make an announcement?
Yes, sir.
Go right ahead.
In the case entitled Dan Gregg et al. Versus City of Los Angeles, there's a recommendation to expend $950,000 in settlement.
Okay, on this item, members, let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, let's move now to item 25.
And, Mr. President, amending motion 25A has been circulated.
Okay, so we've already satisfied public comment on this item. Let us then open the roll. Let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is moved. Okay, we'll do item 48.
And, Mr. President, amending motion 48A has been circulated.
Okay, so on this item, let us open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
That is approved. We'll now go to item 1. We have cards.
Mr. President, pardon me, before doing so, there's been a request to continue items 1C and 1F for 2 weeks. That brings us to January 27th.
And those items, again, that was
1C and 1F, sir.
1F?
That is correct.
Okay, so I believe I have a card on 1F. But Mr. Lee, that item is being continued for how long, Mr. Clerk?
2 weeks, sir.
So that will be 2 weeks from today, would be January 27th. Okay, so I would like to call Joseph Carandayan, and this is on, I think, 2. And Mr. Koretz.
I wanted to speak on item 1M, if I might.
Okay, just when I get to it, which will be the next item.
Okay.
Okay, let's... All right, so what we're going to do now is go to your item, Mr. Koretz. That's 1M. I'd like to call for Charles. Do we have Charles? This is on 1M. Callie Balin or Bala, please come forward. Item 1M. Mr. Charles, please come to the mic. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, you can go ahead.
I'm sorry, I'm not so familiar with what's going on here.
Oh, no problem. Just go right ahead.
We have a synagogue. The address I provided over there, 17948 Ventura Boulevard. And we got the fine because we did not comply with the city. And apparently, I just found out I had already paid. And the late pays, and the charges, I was not aware, and the landlord did not let me know, so that's why it was not paid. And the charge originally, I think, was $356, and they raised it to after I paid this, they raised it to $1,776. And right now we got the permit and everything we have. And I spoke to the inspector yesterday that in case they want to be in touch with them to find out that we cooperate with them or not, they said it's fine. I wanted to ask you, since this place is non-profit, you consider it not to pay the charges, please.
Thank you. So I'm going to defer to Mr. Koretz at this moment. Mr. Koretz, the floor is yours.
President, I understand that the late payment, which I believe has been made, was due to a lack of communication between the landlord and the synagogue, and so I'd like to ask that we waive the late fees on that.
Charles?
It was just a report. So they reported and they said here are the violations.
And safety on item number 1M. Yeah, this property is a synagogue. It's a religious institution, but it's not the institution, the religious institution that owns the property. And the property was inspected in 2013. They paid the initial fee, the non-comp fee. However, they didn't pay the late fee, and the department has been going after this property to pay the late fee. They failed up to today, but after talking with the council member, he feels that he wants to help them out by cutting off the late fee, and that will reduce the lien to $42, which the tenant has said is willing to pay.
Okay, so Mr. Koretz, you want to amend this where we eliminate that fee? Okay, now, or is that the way we can do this, and I'd second it or what have you?
Yeah, I think the council member wanted to eliminate the late fee of $13.75 as well as the accumulated interest of $359.67. That will leave the remaining balance to be $42, which the tenant wants to pay. As soon as he pays that will close the case.
All right, that's fine. Now we're going to go to, I have a Vladimir Stotor. Vladimir. And then is there an Anton? Vladimir. Okay, so it's been recommended, Mr. Koretz, that we vote on 1M now. So, members, we're going to vote on 1M right now. Madam Clerk, please open the roll. Close the roll. Tabulate the vote.
14 ayes.
Okay, that's approved as amended. Vladimir. Do we have a Helena, I think it's Ahazi? Please come forward. Yes, ma'am.
Yes, I would like to ask for an extension so that I could get better understanding of what is going on.
And what address is that?
20501 Etna Street, Woodland Hills, California 91367.
2050. So is Mr. Blumenfield is not here today, but how long did you want that extension?
2 weeks.
Why don't we give you 2 weeks? That'll be to January 27th for you to, so you'll have that time to try to sort this out, okay? So on item, what is it, 1P? We will continue that for 2 weeks. Thank you. So Mr. Walsh now. Mr. Walsh. Come on, Mr. Walsh.
This is as fast as I can walk when I'm 79. This is elder abuse from
no, stay on the subject, and you can always...
Come on, Mr. Walsh, get your way.
No, you're off the subject. Hold this time. Mr. Walsh, since you speak so much, we invite you to sit closer to the microphone. Now, with that said, start his time again.
Hearing protest appeals or objections to building safety. This is nuisance abatement. Again, you do a good job here despite yourselves. Anybody who comes up here and challenges it, you'll get a 2-week delay. They never come back, which means they get a good deal and they're happy. So anybody who doesn't like the lien, come here, speak against it, and you'll get your 2-week extension, and you won't come back because you will be satisfied. HollywoodHighlands.org. Racist.
Thank you.
Racist.
No, you are off the subject. That's what you are. Okay, let us prepare to vote on this item.
Pardon,
Mr. Clerk.
Yes, sir. Before doing so, there has been a request for 1K to be continued to February 12.
Okay, so without objection, that'll be the order. Mr. Harris Dawson.
Mr. President, we would ask item 1R, as in radio, be continued for 2 weeks.
Okay, so we'll continue that item to the 27th of January. Let us prepare to vote on the remaining items. Let's open the roll, close the roll, tabulate the vote.